Along the southern New Mexico border separating the U.S. from Mexico, this has become a common sight. In April, 110,000 acres of land, an area 7 times the size of Manhattan, was transferred to the U.S. Army for 3 years from the Bureau of Land Management. A second was created in May with a transfer of International Boundary and Water Commission land in Texas. The 2 so-called national defense areas are satellites of Army bases in Arizona and Texas. That gives troops the right to hold and question civilian trespassers without the need for U.S. President Donald Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act. The Army has not made public the zone's boundaries. Rancher Russell Johnson says he's unsure if his home, or over half his ranch, is inside the area.
If the National Defense Area truly does go up to Highway 9, my house is south of Highway 9, so in theory, I live within the National Defense Area. Probably close to half of my ranch is in the National Defense Area. And there's been no communications to me other than you will have no issues doing what you've been doing for the last 100 years.
Johnson, a former Border Patrol agent who has testified to the U.S. Congress about illegal border crossers, welcomes the zone as an extra layer of security.
I see it as, at this time, a necessity to get things back under control and to maintain a form of control on the border.
In the past 4 months, the number of active duty troops on the border rose from 2,500 at the end of the Biden administration to 8,000, according to the U.S. Army.
Boy, when I see the military, I get angry at our country that this is where we're spending our money, our resources.
Abby Carpenter is with the Battalion Search and Rescue Group, humanitarian volunteers that search for migrant remains. The group's founder is concerned the military zone will push migrants west into even more dangerous desert crossings.
We're anxious in the future about not being able to come out here because this is supposedly a military zone. There are no signs, we don't know that yet, but who's going to look for these remains if we're not allowed out here? Will they just be covered up by the desert sands?
Along the international boundary, Reuters saw warning signs posted inside the United States around 45 feet north of the border barrier, around every 328 feet, facing south. That meant if you had crossed the border and could read them, you were already in the zone. Since May, federal judges in Texas and New Mexico have dismissed trespassing charges against migrants caught within the area, ruling there was no evidence they saw signs before entering the zone. Troops have alerted Border Patrol to 390 illegal crossings in the nearly 2 months since the first zone was established. They made their first detentions on June 3rd. Border Patrol arrested nearly 40,000 migrants in the El Paso sector in the fiscal year to April, down 78% from the year earlier period.